Glyphosate and its use in GMO crops. For centuries, the agriculture industry has provided our world with fresh food as well as playing an important role in our economy. However, as the agriculture industry progressively expands, engineering techniques as well as chemtech developments are a need to accommodate for a modern society. Although many of which are strongly debated, they are certainly a necessity in order to sustain our developing society, one of which include herbicides, more specifically glyphosate. Manufactured by the company Monsanto, glyphosate is the main ingredient in herbicides, known to be the most widely used weed-killing chemical ever since its emergence in the 70s. It is mainly found in GMO farming, most heavily used on corn, soy, and cotton crops, home gardens, and with a variety of industrial uses. For example, in many cities, glyphosate is even sprayed along the sidewalks and streets, as well as the crevices in between pavement where weeds often grow. When used accordingly, these herbicides help in keeping weeds from competing with crops for water, sunlight, and nutrients, alternately helping farmers and homeowners control weed growth. It is due to their reactive nature that these chemicals found in glyphosate work by mimicking plant hormones and therefore inhibiting controlled plant growth. Generally, in GMO crops, glyphosate shuts down the plant's immune systems so they become more vulnerable to pathogens and therefore die. Some more of their chemical properties include being moderately toxic, a pH level of around 1.9, and may be highly combustible and explosive if reacted with unlined steel to produce hydrogen gas. Its physical properties include white crystalline powder appearance, odorless nature, molecular mass of 169.07, melting point at around 185 degrees Celsius, boiling point at 187, and its solubility in water is around 1.01 grams per 100 milliliters at 20 degrees. Locally available products such as Roundup typically contain high concentrations of glyphosate, however, in combination with other ingredients. This helps to improve the absorption of glyphosate into the plant, inhibiting plant enzymes. The main synthesis reaction consists of a three-step process of these compounds to produce glyphosate. First, it involves the reaction of phosphorus trichloride with formaldehyde, followed by hydrolysis to break apart the water molecules and yield a phosphonate. Then glycine is reacted with this resultant phosphonate, which is why there's a bracket and a space between it, to finally yield glyphosate. This synthetic approach is responsible for a significant portion of the production of glyphosate worldwide, most notably in China. Glyphosate-induced crops have been grown and treated with this process for over 2 million hectares of land around the world, which from a societal perspective pertains to a significant portion of the economy. According to a 2013 report by Delta Farms, without the practicality of this process, the agriculture industry would estimate a loss of $16 billion to farmers in the US each year. Due to the fact that the agriculture industry is such a large portion of our society, herbicides cut weed control costs by $10 billion a year. Therefore, without it, many countries would be at a risk of an economic downfall. For example, Farm Chemical International reports that the use of herbicides in Argentina provided a $30 billion boost for the country's struggling economy. Along with promises of agricultural sustainability, as well as socioeconomic benefits, the use of glyphosate may now just seem like a natural evolution for an increasingly chemtech-reliant society. However, do the benefits really outweigh the cost of the implementation of glyphosate in agriculture, most notably GMO crops? The main concern around the advent of glyphosate and herbicides has to do with its negative side effects on our environment, including the biodiversity of our ecosystems. As far as the environment is concerned, glyphosate is the most sprayed and distributed chemical substance in human history. Therefore, over the years of its use, a global contamination has occurred, having significant effects on the lithosphere, biosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere. Firstly, with its infiltration through plants, it has a direct contact to the lithosphere and biosphere. Since it is a phosphoric amino derivative of glycine, it tends to behave like an inorganic phosphate in the soil. According to a report by BOD, glyphosate values are less than 2 mg per gram respectively, meaning that the molecule cannot be considered easily biodegradable. In fact, the glyphosate is absorbed from the ground as well as through the phosphorus atom in the covalent compound phosphorus trichloride, which is fairly hard to break apart. Considering its density of about 1.7 grams per centimeter cubed and its limited volatility, it is difficult for the substance to evaporate. Even when it evaporates eventually, it remains suspended in the air for a long time after its application. With such high concentrations being emitted into the atmosphere, it results in an increased amount of air pollution and reduced qualities of air, risking the human's health. This includes respiratory and circulatory diseases such as pulmonary edema, arrhythmias, metabolic failure, and hyperalechemia. Moreover, rainwater can carry these chemicals to other regions such as lakes and oceans where they kill fish. For other plant organisms, glyphosate acts as a toxin by altering the vital functions of essential aromatic amino acids. This also exposes other wildlife and humans to glyphosate contamination through ingestion of water, and more specifically the plants being contaminated through the harvesting process. Another significant impact on health is its carcinogenic tendencies that have been revealed through various scientific studies. In 2015, the WHO IRC classified glyphosate as a probably carcinogenic substance for humans and recommended that glyphosate exposures to populations should end with a full global phase-out. Specifically, February 2020, an EPA study of rodents' behaviors according to its carcinogenicity data from chronic glyphosate exposures resulted in reports of various cancers. Similar properties to endocrine disruptors, showing links to liver diseases and DNA damage in laboratory embryos. This image shows the movement of glyphosate through the atmosphere and entry into the human body, showing a variety of links to damage in organs such as liver, stomach, and etc. With the numerous negative effects listed, glyphosate remediation from the soil has become an ongoing topic in the agriculture industry. The chemical approach in cleansing glyphosate begins with the rejuvenation of beneficial organisms that will eventually degrade glyphosate and add soil amendments. To do this, farmers could spray bioinoculants which promote plant growth on the fields, specifically containing Pseudoma bacteria because it's easily wiped out by glyphosate and some of its species are known to be detoxifiers, again enforcing the cleansing process. Another method is to include microbe stimulants such as sweeteners, seaweed extracts, and even manure in the spray mix for herbicides. This helps stimulating organic operations to enhance nutrient sufficiency, crop quality, and increase tolerance to abiotic stress of other herbicides. Nevertheless, just as there are pros and cons of the use of glyphosate, there are a variety of strategies to reduce the use of chemicals in agriculture and remediate the negative effects created on the environment. The first, most obvious alternative is organic agriculture, without the use of synthetic ingredients. Such include the use of acetic acid, vinegar as a natural herbicide. Like most acids, it's a desiccant, drawing moisture from the plant and therefore has the potential to kill any plant. Contrarily, although bleach is on the other side of the pH scale, making it extremely alkaline, it is essentially behaving the same way as vinegar in terms of natural herbicides. For a wide range of alternatives, salts are most efficient as they are inexpensive and quickly disrupt the internal water balance of plant cells, having the potential to kill any plant. Although this method was historically rejected due to its groundwater contamination concerns, the negative effects of salt are still outweighed by glyphosate's negative effects. Ideally, a homemade recipe for natural herbicides could be dissolving a 3-to-1 ratio of salts into a solution of water mixed with white vinegar and dish soap. This way, salt and vinegar are both desiccants, meaning they draw moisture from weeds and other plants. Adding liquid soap increases the absorption of the solution. While soap breaks down the waxy substance of the plant due to its dipole nature, it lowers its defenses against salt and acetic acid and vinegar. Then water sticks to the leaves instead of washing the solution and eventually biodegrades the plant. Finally, there are even synthetic alternatives that again are improvements in comparison to glyphosate. Dicot is a post-emergence that kills small annual weeds and strongly damages large annual weeds, similar to other herbicides. Just like glyphosate, it undergoes an alkaline hydrolysis synthesis, reacting 2,2-dipodryl and ethylene dibromide to create dicot dibromide. Due to its less reactive tendencies, it requires thorough spray coverage to achieve optimum results. However, it is less costly and has less negative side effects on the environment than glyphosate. In conclusion, although glyphosate has some socioeconomic benefits, as a herbicide it is proven to have overwhelming negative side effects on health, wildlife, and the overall environment. Therefore, it is recommended to use alternatives mentioned in the video to replace glyphosate and remediate the environment. Finally, these are my references. Thank you for listening.